Hi everyone, thank you for joining me in part 3 of the series where I build an application that uses every feature of Next.js. I'm building out this app so that I can test different hosting providers and test out which features actually work on a given hosting provider. At this point, I still have a lot more features to build out, but I've got a good proof of concept app here, so I want to actually try it out, hosting it on Vercel and seeing, can I host it on Vercel, point my Cypress automated tests at that Vercel instance, and get back a report that actually tells me if the features are working or not. Can I effectively test static site generation, server-side rendering, image optimization, and more against a hosting provider? And this should be a happy path case because Vercel are the creators and maintainers of Next.js. So I know, especially in the pages-based architecture, they support every feature of Next.js. And at this point, my app is only testing the core features, so I'm expecting to have this be that happy path test, but I'm at a good point where I want to take this app that full way through where I can go from development where I'm at now, hosting it on a provider, and actually getting a report. But with that, I've only got those core features right now in Next.js. So please let me know in the comments below what features in Next.js you're considering using or what features you need tested. And also what hosting providers you're considering. I've got some hosting providers that I lined up that I want to test, but please let me know in the comments below which ones you want tested so I can make sure to get those on the list. But with that, let's head over to Vercel, get this app hosted, and check out, can we run our automated tests against it? Here is my Vercel dashboard. You can tell I've got quite a few projects in here. I really like using Vercel, and I'm still not even surpassing their hobby tier, so I'm pretty happy with that. But what we want to do is get our application hosted in here so that we can run our Cypress tests against it. Just a quick peek. This is the host check Next.js project inside of GitHub. This is where all the code is. This is where all the code is publicly accessible. Considering changing the name to something else, but right now it's that host check Next.js. This is our pages-based architecture app with all of those core features of Next.js. Back in Vercel, if I add new in the top right and project, I already have my Git repo set up here, so it knows that my host check app is right here. I can import it. And we don't have any changes to be made here. I don't have any environment variables. The only environment variable I have is for Cypress, and that's what to point at the deployed URL. So let's get this deployed, and I'll fast forward through this since it can take about a minute, and I don't think we need to watch the entire thing. Nice, our application has been deployed. That took just over a minute, but we are now hosted on Vercel. Let's head over to the dashboard and we'll get our URL for this deployed application and give us our domain host check Next.js vercel.app. So perfect. We can head there and I can click through these pages and see, hey, get static props is working, get server-side props, really expecting that to be working. Perfect, it is. But the whole point is that we don't want to manually test this. We want to have that automated testing, especially when I start adding more features in here. I don't want to be doing manual testing for each and every hosting provider. So what I can do is take this URL and give it to Cypress and have Cypress test against this URL. So let's look into the VS Code application and make sure I can make that change. So that change is going to happen inside of my Cypress config.ts. This is the root directory. This is the config for my Cypress application. I've got this URL environment variable here, and right now it's set to localhost because I've only been testing against that localhost environment. If I change this to my new URL, it's going to test against that URL. So let's get Cypress opened and testing. npm run Cypress open should bring open the Cypress window. We're doing EDE testing. I'm going to be using Chrome. And we want to run our 6 specs that are down below here. And we want to make sure that that's running against that production environment. So let's take a peek once these start running. Yes, we can see in the top that that URL bar is actually going against that hosted platform. So we are testing against the production or hosted version of this application. We are testing, does Vercel support API routes, image optimization, and all these other features that I'm testing. And like we expect, Vercel does support them. I'm really glad to see that the creators and maintainers of Next.js are able to support all of the core features of Next.js. So that's not a surprise here, but this is really great results. I've validated now that this application that I've been building locally so far can test against that hosted instance that I have in Vercel. So that is a great validation of this proof of concept and makes me feel really confident about moving forward and creating more tests for more features. That's where I need your help. I need your help on what features do you want to see tested? What features do you think are most important? What features are you using that you really need to make sure work on a given hosting provider? I know I've got some lined up, doing dynamic routes, catch-all routes. I want to look at doing the edge runtime as well, and some other features inside of Next.js, but I really want to know which ones are most important to you. Leave that in the comments below. Also, again, what hosting providers? I've got some lined up. I want to test Netlify, of course, AWS Amplify, Azure Static Web Apps. Let me know which one of those is most important to you, and also what other providers you're also considering for Next.js. But with that, I'm really happy to see that this is working, that the Cypress tests have worked successfully. So if you like this video, please leave it a like. If you want to keep up with the series, make sure to subscribe. I'll be having more content and definitely be testing actual hosting providers very soon with these new features. Thanks.